You were just a mistake we were forced to keep. My sister didn't whisper it. She said it loud enough for the whole table to hear. My parents didn't correct her. She's right, my mom added, not even looking up from her plate. The room felt smaller than it was. My fork rested halfway to my mouth. I waited for someone to laugh, to soften it, to say they were joking. No one did. Hi everyone, my name is Camille. I had always known I was the afterthought. The unplanned one. The one who learned early not to need too much. But hearing it said plainly, like a fact everyone agreed on, did something permanent inside me. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I finished my water, stood up and said, "Okay." That confused them more than tears would have. "Don't be dramatic," my dad muttered. I nodded, grabbed my coat, and walked out of the house I had been shrinking inside for years. I didn't slam the door. I didn't text anyone. I just left. 3 weeks later, they hosted a perfect family reunion. Photos flooded social media. Smiling faces. Matching outfits. No empty chair for me. That night, my phone lit up. 17 missed calls. All from my sister. I stared at the screen, watching her name repeat itself like urgency could rewrite history.
Camille, call me.
Please answer. It's important. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened social media again. The reunion photos were still pinned to the top of my mom's profile. "Family is everything," she captioned it, heart emojis lined up like proof. My sister had posted a boomerang of champagne glasses clinking. Dad smiling. Mom glowing. No one looked forced to keep anyone. My phone buzzed again. Incoming call. I let it ring. Then a voicemail notification appeared. Her voice was different. Not sharp. Not superior. Panicked. "Camille, I need you. Please call me back. It's about the house." The house. I leaned back on my couch, letting the silence of my apartment settle around me. The place I had rented quietly after leaving. Small.
Clean.
Entirely mine. Another message came through. They're saying I signed something I didn't understand. I didn't react outwardly, but inside something aligned. For years, I had been the one who read contracts, the one who asked questions, the one who noticed fine print. They used to call it paranoia. Now she was calling it help. My phone rang again. This time, I answered. Her first words weren't an apology. They were fear. "Camille, they're saying I'm liable," she rushed out, barely breathing between words. "There's a lien. They're threatening legal action." I stayed quiet long enough for her panic to fill the space. "Slow down," I said evenly. "What did you sign?" "It was just paperwork for the reunion venue. Dad handled most of it. I just signed where he told me." Of course she did. "And now?" "They say the loan was structured under my name, that I'm personally responsible if it defaults." I closed my eyes briefly. Dad had always loved leverage. He just never used it on her before. "Did you read it?" I asked. She hesitated.
No.
I thought about the dinner table. The word mistake. The way my parents nodded along. "They wouldn't do that to me," she added quickly, as if convincing herself. "They already did," I replied softly. Silence. Then her voice cracked. "I don't know what to do." I walked to my desk and opened my laptop. "Forward me everything," I said. She exhaled in relief, like I'd just thrown her a rope. "I knew you'd help," she whispered. I didn't answer that, because helping and rescuing were two different things. And I hadn't decided which one I was willing to be. The documents hit my inbox within minutes. I opened them slowly, scanning line by line the way I always had. Loan agreement.
Personal guarantee.
Adjustable interest clause. Default triggers tied to projected event revenue that clearly hadn't been met. My sister had signed everything. Primary borrower. Dad's name appeared only as event coordinator. No liability attached. I almost admired the precision. "Camille?" she whispered through the phone. "What does it say?" "It says you're responsible for $200,000, I replied evenly. She inhaled sharply. "That's impossible. Dad said it was secured."
"It is," I said.
"By you." Silence filled the line. "They tricked me?" she asked faintly. No, I corrected gently. You trusted them. That landed harder. I need you to fix it, she said, desperation creeping back in. You're good at this. You always are. I thought about every time I had warned her to read before signing. Every eye roll. Every stop being dramatic. You called me a mistake, I said calmly. She went quiet. That was just honest. I finished for her. More silence. I'm not asking you to like me, she whispered. I'm asking you to help me. I leaned back in my chair. For the first time in my life, she was the one who felt small. And she knew it. I'll review it, I said finally. But I'm not paying it. She exhaled shakily. I'm not asking for money.
Good.
Because that door was closed. I scanned the clauses again, tracing the structure Dad had used. The default window hadn't passed yet. There was still time to renegotiate before penalties compounded. Did you receive any of the funds directly?
I asked. No.
It all went into the reunion event account, which Dad controlled. I almost smiled at the predictability. They leveraged your credit, I explained calmly. You're exposed because you signed the personal guarantee. Her voice cracked. So what do I do? For once, I said evenly. You confront them. Silence. I can't, she whispered. I remembered that feeling. Yes, you can. She inhaled slowly. Will you come with me? I considered it. 3 weeks ago, they said I was a mistake. Now I was strategy. I'll attend, I said. But I'm not rescuing anyone. I'm clarifying. That distinction mattered. The next evening, I walked back into my parents' house for the first time since I left. The same dining table. The same chairs. Dad looked surprised to see me. My sister looked terrified. And my mom looked defensive. Before anyone spoke, I placed the loan documents on the table. And waited. Dad didn't touch the papers at first. He leaned back like confidence could rewrite liability. What is this? He asked calmly. You know what it is, I replied. My sister's hands trembled slightly beside me. My mom avoided eye contact entirely. You structured the reunion loan under her name, I continued. Personal guarantee included. Dad sighed, annoyed rather than ashamed. It was efficient. Her credit score is strong. Efficient, like she was a tool. You told me it was secured by event revenue, my sister whispered. It was, he snapped. If people had shown up. They did, I said evenly. Just not enough to cover the projection you inflated. His jaw tightened. Don't start lecturing me, he muttered. I'm not lecturing, I said. I'm clarifying exposure. Mom finally spoke. We're family. We'll handle it.
How?
I asked calmly. Because legally, she handles it alone. That landed. My sister looked at him. You said you'd back me. He didn't answer. For the first time, she saw it. The same pattern I had. You always said I was paranoid, I said softly. I wasn't. Dad's composure cracked slightly. You're making this bigger than it is. No, I replied. You did. Silence filled the room. And this time I didn't rush to fix it. I can't cover 200,000, my sister said quietly. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't accusatory. It was reality. Dad finally reached for the documents, flipping through them like he could find a loophole he hadn't already exploited. You're overreacting, he insisted. We'll refinance. With what? I asked calmly. Your income. He didn't respond. Mom looked between us, searching for the version of me that would smooth this over. She'll help, she said automatically. I met her eyes. No, I replied. The word felt steady. Not revenge. Boundary. You owe her, Mom pressed. You're her sister. I thought about the dinner table. The word mistake. The agreement that followed. I was your daughter, I said quietly.
No one argued that.
My sister looked at me, tears finally gathering. I'm sorry, she whispered. It wasn't polished. It wasn't strategic. It was scared. I believed her. But belief didn't mean sacrifice. I'll help you negotiate terms, I said evenly. I'll review the refinancing structure. Relief flooded her face. But I won't carry it. Dad looked up sharply. You're really leaving us to deal with this? I held his gaze. I'm letting you. For once, the responsibility stayed exactly where it belonged. The refinancing didn't happen because there was nothing to refinance against. Within a week, the lender called in the default clause. The event account was empty. The projections had been inflated beyond reason. Dad tried to negotiate. The bank didn't care about pride. They cared about signatures. My sister moved into a smaller apartment the following month. She took a second job. She stopped rolling her eyes when people mentioned contracts. I met with her twice, reviewed revised payment schedules, helped her avoid compounding penalties. I never touched my own savings. Dad stopped hosting reunions. The perfect family posts disappeared quietly. No apology came from my parents. None was expected. One evening, my sister sat across from me at a coffee shop, tired but steadier. I shouldn't have said what I said, she admitted softly.
You were honest, I replied.
I was cruel. That mattered more. I didn't hug her. I didn't dramatize forgiveness. I simply nodded. Because the biggest shift wasn't the loan. It was the realization that I was never the mistake. I was the one who read the fine print. And this time, I didn't sign.